Hi all. Today we're going to try to do a Hoyt yoke. It's like 13 and a half. If I can figure out how to stitch this video together, then I'll show you the whole process. But we're going to set the jigs up. I'm going to push it down here a little bit. This here is for our twister stretcher. We're going to lay it out in a 3-post arrangement. This is as short as you can get. Just pick the Hoyt because it's pretty short, but some of them crossbows, they have a shorter deal. So I put the spring lock in there, so when I'm laying this out, I'm not pulling against the spring and causing uneven strand tension. So we'll take this off of here. So now I got to stop you real quick, and I'll come back and I'll show you how I get my jig set up. All right, I got my hat pulled open here. This is for my iPhone anyway. I got my twist variable is 0.75, my length variable is 1.009, my post width is 6 inches. Just for simplicity reasons, I'm going to just leave it at that. This has cable length, bus length, yoke length too, but this I don't have to scroll down as far. Uh-oh. I got to change my string length to, I think a Hoyt is 13.5. That's what we're going with. Calculate, recalculate. So now the 3-post measurement is 10.62. So that's what we're going to lay out, the two closest pins to me, and I'll show you in the video. All right, back to laying it out. I already forgot it was 10.62. Anyway, so we'll measure from this pin to this pin. We'll go 10.62. If it'll move. 0.62 is about 5/8. I squared this up earlier. I have a runner guide that rides on the side of this that keeps it kind of square. But we'll check it both ways anyway. I'd say we're pretty dang close. Got my spooler. This is some mercury, just straight mercury. Technically it should be, well, for a yoke, I think we're doing like 16 strands or so. I probably won't even count because I always lose track. But the spooler helps you keep even tension. Something this short is probably not that critical, but it helps me just hang on to the dang spool. My hands aren't so big that I can just palm the spool. So this kind of just gives you something to hang on to. As you noticed, I started out over here and come around this way. If you start out over here, you'll be minus a strand. That looks about right. I ain't counting. You can check me if you want, but I'm not counting. I don't have a Hoyt at the moment. I just chose the Hoyt because it's one of the shorter yokes, and like the PSE is like 19, I think, and or 16, and the Darton is 16 or something like that, 15 and 3/4. Anyway, what I did here is I took the spring lock out, set it aside, and I added 100 pounds of tension. That way when I serve this, it won't twist underneath under the serving. This is an AAE jig. I like these for end loops because they're smaller, a little bit lighter. You don't have to do this, but I don't know, I just like to feed it through. Give yourself extra. No, that's not, this is Bloodline 8/1000. I kind of like how this stuff lays out. So now you got it kind of started. You got about 3 wraps. And where's my deal? I made these little deals. Haven't quite perfected them yet, but I can put it on there if it'll fit. And there's just a mark. There's no measurement, nothing. So I want to move that over to where my mark is. And if I haven't cinched it tight, I can do that. Sorry for the creaking. The wind's blowing the door in and out. All right, so I'll do 6 or 8 wraps to get started. We'll cinch it tight. Try not to move it. If you ever watch Threads videos, those gals, they flat haul butt. I'll probably embarrass them. You don't have to have this super tight, but you want it tight enough that this white should go fairly clear. It's not bad. I'm gonna get rid of this tag. I never melt the tags on the end loops. I don't think you need them because they serve over the top of them with your cam servings or your end servings, I guess you'd want to call it. Uh-oh, went too far. That's all right. It's not like me to serve too much. Usually end up short. I counted back 6 wraps from my mark. Since it's a little tight with this narrow post, I'm just going to use a loop. Kind of put it in there if I can do this. I gotta go watch Threads' gals' videos because they're like really good at it. Alright. Pull some of that out. When you're doing this, you don't want this to go slack. I'm gonna put a knife in there. Try not to let that go. Stuff that through there. Keeping it tight. Make sure you leave yourself plenty on the tag inside. What the hell happened? Shit, we pulled it out. Time out, we'll work it out. I think we saved it, maybe. Basically all we're doing is pulling this tag underneath the rest of it. Saved it. Like I said, turn the camera on. If it can go wrong, it will go wrong. I'm gonna just trim that off flush. Check my job I did. Pull that out. And I just cut these tags off. No melting. This is plenty tight enough that it'll hold everything square. So now loosen that up. Put it on there. These, ordinarily I would have swapped it around and served the other end, but I'm just playing with this so I'll get us close enough. The ends where you start and stop should be staggered, so when you serve over it kind of creates a little ramp. I'm going to just crank this up just to kind of seat it a little bit. With the 13-inch string, that's not gonna creep a whole lot. So you just give it a good seat, then I'll back it off. This was a production string, I'd probably spend a little bit more time. So I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I think that's what our app said, so we'll go back up to 100 pounds and see how close to 13.5 we ended up. We're within a 1/16, so I'm going to go back to my app until I add another 1/16 to it. That's like 0.01 or 0.06, pretty close. Anyway, I'm going to go back to my app. We're going to adjust that and do it again. Since we were about a 1/16 of an inch short, I'm going to come back and tinker with the length variable again. So we're trying to get 13.5 and we ended up with like 13 7/16. So I want this 2-post measurement of 13.625. I want that to change to about 13.7. So we'll do in the length variable we'll see how that calculates or recalculate to about 13.64. I want that 13.7, so we're gonna go a little bit more. Sorry for the noise. 1.5. $13.7, that's what we're looking for right there. So we'll lay the next one out, the 3-post at 10.72 and 702. Anyway, there, I'll be back again. This one's the 1/16 of an inch short. That goes in the garbage. So we're going to reset up everything again. This kind of this is adding 100, 150 pounds on that. Now we got to measure. Two-post measurement should have been 10.7, I think. .7 is a little bit less than 3/4. Well, that's how it goes. Remember, starting on this side, the rubber deals here, you just wrap them around 3 or 4 times and pull them tight, and the string will suck in behind the rubber pieces. I like to take an extra wrap. When you're laying out, you don't have to be super tight. You just want them all even. if you're counting your strands, you want to count them away from the end, count them off to the side. That's probably enough. Last one. All right. Do it again. Pull that out. Add some tension. You can kind of feel it. String building, you just got to get used to the idea that you're going to throw some away. I know it's expensive, but just kind of how it is. I've thrown a lot of them away. You never know, the wife comes in or the kids come in or lose count. Happens. Got a little bit. Jig loosened up a little bit. Before you know it, you got little pieces of stuff everywhere. I like to serve tight enough that it's kind of wanting to move the material, but it's not adding twist under it. An end loop can, on a string, can translate to a peep rotation up the string. This is going to be one long video. Perfect. I'll use a piece of this pink stuff, or whatever this is, salmon. Oops. Probably shouldn't have done that, but oh well. I'm holding it tight with my fingers. I'm going to roll this back up a little bit. Do my 6 wraps. Lost count. Oh well. Did it again. Oh, we saved it again too, so. All right. The second time maybe a little quicker. All right. Same process. If I was going to serve both ends, I would flip this around, but since I keep messing them up, I'm not going to serve twice. This one should be pretty close. We're trying to shoot for on the money, kind of a demo on the app. Like I said, I'm gonna crank it up probably 300 for just a minute. It probably won't gain a whole lot of length. Being this short, you might be able to creep 1/8 of an inch or so. I mean, you're not gonna, if your string layout's not good, you're not overstretching it by 1/8. You're just gonna have to untwist it or start over. All right, because we're just doing demo stuff here. 10 twists. It's almost better to be a little bit long than it is a little bit short. I don't mind putting twists in. I hate taking twists out of a string. So that one's on the money. When you serve this, it can grow a little bit, but if you're within a 1/16 of an inch, I'd say you're doing pretty good. I'll move you up here a little bit. And that's a 13.5 inch yoke times 2. Anyway, threw the one out. This one's good. I would trust it to put it on a bow, but I don't have a Hoyt, so it's a demo. Probably going in the garbage anyway.